Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Hearthstone. So we still need one Warlock victory and 2 more victories of anything else. And we're on a winning streak playing ranked. If I get one more victory, I'll get up to rank 21. I think at that point I probably should stop playing. But I guess since I'm on a winning streak, if I continue with the winning streak, I'll get bonus stars. And so I could play until I lost. I really do wish that my decks would get me really high on ranked, but it's not probably going to happen. We're covering the Steam hardware survey. That's all we got to talk about. We got halfway through it. The numbers are certainly interesting, and it's nice to compare to my PC, but it is very important for me to remember my PC shouldn't be an average PC. I'm a video game critic. This is my profession. I should have a professional level, top of the line PC, not particularly insane. I don't need to spend $20,000 on a PC. I don't need to have 5 Titan X's in my video card and some weird SLI that won't even work because they've, on the new Titan X's Pascal versions, you can only have 2 SLI, and SLI half the time hurts more than it helps. So realistically, if I was to have an unlimited budget, I would probably still just give myself as top of the line as a processor as I can. If I could squeeze a couple hundred more megahertz out of the processor, that would be good. Is this guy gonna play or what? I thought for a second there it'd just disconnect and then I'd have another victory, which would be nice. I would get a top of the line processor. I'd maybe get faster RAM, but I'd still probably only want to get up to 32 gigabytes. I don't see a reason to start trying to go above that number.
Powering up! Portal online!
And so, yeah, I'd get 1 Titan X, I'd get slightly faster RAM, slightly faster processor, maybe a slightly bigger hard drive, slightly more modern motherboard, but when I'm saying slightly here, I really do mean slightly because all my equipment is pretty new right now. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So to recap the hardware review, let's just quickly go over it. Half of Steam users use Windows 10, 58 point something use NVIDIA graphics card, approximately 78% use Intel processors, about approximately 38% have DirectX 12 operating systems, which means Windows 10 again. Guess I probably played the wrong thing there, didn't I? Nope, that was all I could do. On the turn. 47% approximately have 4-core processors. I have 6-core processors. I wouldn't be upset about going to 8-core processors in a new PC. I probably wouldn't go to 10 or 12 cores. I don't think games really even take care of 4-core processors that well. I would prefer to have less cores and a faster core rate, just a faster per core or base rate, whatever they call it these days. And let's see, 51% of, what is this? I wrote a line through it. Oh yeah, approximately 51% of Mac users have a MacBook Pro. Not super surprising there. I think
that didn't quite hit the mark.
Getting the number of how many people are actually Mac users on Steam versus something else I think would be probably more helpful. Because I suspect that number is incredibly low. That
Unleash the beast.
let's see. I gotta be careful here, I'm gonna lose. Let's see.
Time to die! Stay on target! What a rush! Stay on target!
See, he's gonna beat me though if I can't win in the next turn. He's got every single secret listed here. So, we play this and do this. And then we attack with this. And freezing trap, okay. And explosive trap, okay. And let's see. We're gonna need to get rid of a bear. So we do this. Hey, it didn't trigger the bear. Interesting.
Stay on target! Stay on target!
And I've lost though. Because he'll just use this. He'll just do this and he'll beat me. Unless I could have healed myself, or if I had played this card. Which this card would have done similar. So there goes my winning streak. Oh well, we'll continue. We'll continue and try to make progress. We're at least leveling up our warlock. So that's all the old stats as far as the Steam hardware review. Let's now continue and go on to the new stats. So I've written this, and I may be wrong about this, but I'm pretty sure I'm not. As approximately 61.01% of VR users have an HTC Vive, whereas approximately 31.44% of VR users have an Oculus Rift release version versus the development kit 1 or 2. So that makes up for a 92% of the people have the release version of Oculus Rift or the HTC Vive, and the vast majority, 2/3 of them have the HTC Vive, which is the one that Steam pushed. Now, I would assume this is because the Vive came out earlier, and none of this calculates for the PlayStation VR, which I think probably has done a lot better than either one of them, just because it's cheap. So that is also a consideration. There is also a slight consideration that if you were buying a VR headset now, you know that and if you're doing research to spend a vast amount of money for these things, you would at least be somewhat aware of the fact that Palmer Luckey has kind of spoiled that milk as far as the Oculus Rift, and video game developers have said they don't want to support Oculus Rift because of that, and the HTC Vive is probably the right one to go for, and I think it's a little cheaper. There's also some calculations, let's see, where the Oculus Touch I think came out later than the Vive's controllers, so that the input is definitely an issue on both VR things. But in general, these numbers don't mean anything. Sure, they add up to 100%, but it may be very well 100% of less than 1% of the actual number of people on
Get it out!
Steam.
Get it out!
In general, haven't seen a ton of great games for VR, and we didn't even really see a ton of great games in the video game industry in the first place, and I think this is probably the best argument that VR will fail, is that the video game industry simply can't get its ducks in a row enough to have good years consistently full of good games. We have ever increasing broken releases of AAA games that need patches and day one patches and more patches and a month later patches and 2 months later patches, and it's like the games are so broken, and they're not even good sometimes after all the patches. No amount of patches is gonna fix No Man's Sky unless they completely change the game, and then it's not the same game.
So many possibilities.
So how can we shoot for the moon here when we can't even make it out of the state?
That was a
I
mistake.
think that's kind of my opinion on this. Let's see. Moving on to the next statistic. Approximately 33.51% of Steam users have 8 gigabytes of RAM, and approximately 4.64% have what? Why did I write it like this? Let me play first, and then in return. I guess maybe I just skipped and wrote two things right next to each other. Because the other percentage I have here, oh yeah. At this point in the hardware study, it kind of just started telling you the default instead of all the different variations. So there's a ton of different variations you could have as far as you could have 8 gigabytes, you could have 7, you could have 6, you could have 5, you could have some weird combination in which you even got 512 megabytes of RAM mixed in there that would double the number of options. If you had a 256 megabyte memory module in there, that would double the options again. So with every potential smaller increment that you can add, you can double the number of combinations, and so that starts to make a little bit of sense of what's going on there.
Done.
I'm gonna lose again. I'm gonna fall right back down to the bottom of rank 20. This is if I needed any more evidence to prove that I deserve to be at rank 20 with my deck, this is
for
just yet another piece of proof for that. So it turns out that if you match this and this, something will happen. Let's see. How does this work again? You have to spin it until it matches, and you click on this, and when it matches, it does this and changes, and so you can sit there and play with that as much as you want. Let's see. hit this guy.
Job's done.
So yeah, back to the hardware survive. About a third of players have 8 gigabytes of RAM. I think I have 32 gigabytes of RAM. I could be wrong. I could only have 16. So I have a vast amount of RAM. You would think video games could take advantage of that. Load 3 times as much of level data and really help. It's not really the case though.
That was a mistake.
It doesn't really help too much there. What it does help with is having a second game running in the background, but then that often takes away from processing power. It helps having Chrome in the background. Certainly, if I was to go crazy and make a RAM drive, that would probably help a little bit too. But if I have 32 gigabytes now, next computer I build, I'm probably still going to have 32 gigabytes. I couldn't imagine going up to 64 gigabytes. The problem, even if I did add another 32 gigabytes and made a RAM drive, that's not big enough to hold a Windows 10 install. Still, you're going to need 80, 100, a lot more gigabytes. Like 125 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes for Windows 10 install. So that makes no sense. Also, that'd be really crazy to run all of your operating system out of RAM because a single power failure would not be enough time to copy that RAM drive back to a backup hard drive to save everything. So that's kind of ridiculous. So I honestly have no idea why you would need much more. Not until games start taking advantage of it, and when you look at the Steam hardware reviews and what the average user is and what they're targeting, although video games lately have started to just target like the maximum. Like you're going to need a great video card to even play the game, and it's still not going to run well. They're trying to push the cost of development onto the players in a sense that they'll just say, well, our game isn't running smoothly, it's because you didn't pay enough up for hardware, instead of the truth, they didn't pay enough for optimization and development. But it's going to be a while before that really works and becomes the standard where people... It would probably kill the PC market faster than it would actually help sales of PC games or anything like that. Approximately 4.64% have a GTX 970. That's an incredibly low percentage number, but that is the most common video card too. So that just goes to show the vast variety when you have 3, 4, maybe 5 generations of both Intel and AMD and NVIDIA cards all mixed together. Although the Intel integrated graphics, there may only actually be like 3 generations at most. But there's a ton of variety there. And right now I think the GTX 970 is kind of the target video card for what most video game creators are going to make, whereas the AAA people might try to push you to a 980 or 1080 at this point even. But I have a GTX 970. That's the one thing in my setup that I feel like isn't strong enough. And so if I could get up to 1080 or Titan X, even a Titan X of a previous generation instead of the Titan X Pascal version, that would be potentially what I would want to upgrade. Well, that would definitely, of the other choices, be what I would want to upgrade is that. Let's see, I'm gonna go ahead and kill this guy because I'm probably going to die anyways. So 33.79% of players have 1 gigabyte of video RAM. Now that almost certainly is the GTX 970 spud there because they kind of lied on how much video RAM was in there. I think more video RAM is better, certainly. I mean, you can't even really argue it isn't.
Job done.
Snake trap. Oh well. So, compared to the 8 gigabytes of RAM that average user and the 16 gigabytes of RAM I think I have, which the information on my computer is down in the description if you want to comment and say, you idiot, you don't even know how much is in your computer right now, and honestly that's the truth. I don't memorize it that much. It's not a factor. When most of the factors for reasons why games don't run is they just won't run on any hardware because they're badly optimized for PC. But if I had 4 gigabytes of RAM in my video card, I would want 8 gigabytes. If I have 8 gigabytes, I would want 16 gigabytes. I would want to get it doubled or at least increased as much as possible. Let's see. What's this guy? Summon a 1/1 rats equal to this minion's attack.
Job's done.
Let's go ahead and end the turn and see what happens here. This is a rat pack. And then we get these 1/1 rats. Which maybe I'll take them out in the next turn. Ah, I see. I see the point there. If only I had a card that would do damage. What do you get? Get a beast when this dies. Interesting. So.
What's the flight plan? Powering up. Portals online.
Here we go. In the turn. Moving on, as we're going through this list here, I kind of need to hurry up. 37.82% of people have, with a single monitor, have 1080p as their resolution. Now, on that factor, because YouTube is also sometimes watched on TVs and PCs, mostly, I think even with a newer video card, I couldn't really go up to 2K or 4K. My monitor is a 1080p TV, so I wouldn't be able to increase on that factor either. So there's
Stay on target.
this.
Stay on target.
And this. And then the turn. So yeah, 1080p is going to be my resolution. Even with a new video card, 1080p is going to be my resolution. I don't plan on going to 2K or 4K. Probably going to skip right over 2K to 4K gaming. I don't plan on doing it anytime soon. Like 5 years, maybe? 10 years, maybe? I'd love to do it, but I'd have to upgrade so much stuff. I'd have to upgrade my TV, my video card, my hard drive space, my internet speed to upload such big files, just everything. Probably the speed on the hard drive. It's unrealistic. And that's kind of the problem with the PlayStation 4 Pro and the Xbox One S too, is that they're not realistically and smoothly going to 4K either.
Quickly.
They're trying to cheat to get up there just to sell new TVs and jump on bandwagons.
Your opponent's left.
Approximately 100% of players, by the way, have the SSE2 instruction set, which is kind of not surprising, but it's good to see that. So, SSE2 instruction set on the CPU is just... It's hard to even explain. Basically, if you don't have it, your PC is so old, it's going to be like 10 years old or more. So it's no surprise that no processors don't have it. I think that's probably excluding the any like strong ARM or ARM processors instruction set. Any RISC processors, reduced instruction set processors, probably don't have SSE2 in them, but that would only be netbooks and cell phones again. And since Steam doesn't really sell cell phone apps, and they really dropped the ball there that you can't buy games for through Steam and then somehow license them to the Android marketplace or get some kind of connection there. If I could buy games on Steam and they would actually integrate that system, I would be slightly more likely to buy games on their cell phone. Let's see. Approximately 30.67% have two of the multiple monitor setups have just two monitors at 1080p, so not really surprising there. And they do them side by side, not above each other, which is also not a huge surprise. I've thought about doing multi-monitors myself. I think it would probably mess up some games and I'd end up having to disable or possibly unplug the second monitor, but then it also adds the benefit of going to OBS Studio and having an entire monitor set up to the point where I could watch and watch it record, make sure everything's working, make sure nothing's messing up. Now that again puts more resources of the video card away from the game, which probably isn't a good idea. So I'd probably never do a multi-monitor setup. That's why I like OBS Remote, and I wish it worked with OBS Studio so I could upgrade, but it doesn't, so I won't.
Job's done.
Let's see, freezing trap. That kind of sucks, but not a big deal. Let's see, approximately 63.5% of people have, what did I write here? I can't even read my own writing. It looks like MLES. I don't even know what that statistic is, so I'm just gonna have to skip over that one because I can't read my own writing. The next thing is 44.8% are English. But I don't think those two statistics had anything to do with each other. See, approximately 25.44% have 250 gigs to 499 gigabytes of free hard drive space, which excludes me. Actually, I don't really have that much free space on my SSD. I do have it on my backup hard drive, which my hard backup setup is not set up to actually even use right now.
Right on time.
Stay on target!
That's probably the best solution there.
Stay on target!
And that didn't activate a bear trap or anything.
Job done.
In turn. So I'll play this and this next turn. Approximately 0.23% of users have an HTC Vive. So we were talking about the VR and how many of the users with VR had a Vive. That was 61.01%. A pretty high thing, a high number. However, when you look at overall users that have the Vive, and this is probably the best evidence ever that they have not succeeded to establish VR as something that's going to succeed. Less than 0.25% of Steam users have a Vive. It's such a tiny market. There should be no games coming out for it. Nobody should be developing any amount of effort to make VR versions or VR elements to their games. No, there's no market. But if they don't make the games, nobody will buy the system. But the systems are too expensive, so it's a cycle that's not going to really be fixed until the Vive gets down to less than $200, and there's just a ton of games that are really, really good. So I wish I knew what the 63.5% thing was here, but I can't read my own handwriting, and that's the last of my statistics, and it is the last of the quests. So we've, thank goodness for the Steam hardware sale, or I would have had nothing to say like I've had for the last few recording sessions. December in particular has been a very dull month as far as announcements and stuff going on. We're at 4,800 gold, and what rank are we at? I guess we can click here. Well, on rank 20, we probably won't make it to rank 21. I probably won't even bother trying at this rate. I'm much more interested in just getting quests done quickly so I have more time to cover other games. That's going to be it for this recording session. Let's try my new ending again. As always, I ask you to like, share, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want to support me further, go to my main YouTube page. Click that subscribe button. Click the bell next to it. On the right of the main YouTube page is also a button that says support this channel. That's where you can make donations, and at the top is a playlist tab where you can find more videos to watch. Finally, down below in the description box I have links to all my social media sites, so please follow and friend me on all of those. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.